Welcome to the podcast. Today I'm speaking with David Von Cannon. He's a celebrity hairstylist and has worked on some of the world's most beautiful women. I'm really excited to chat with him today, so thank you for joining. David, thank you so much for joining me. I usually start the conversation off with a question: what do you believe?
Well, thank you for having me, Andrea. That's a very loaded question, but every time I thought about it and still think about it, it comes back to I believe in love. I believe in all kinds of love, loving yourself, loving your family, loving your neighbor, loving what you do,
Mm,
etc. But it all comes back to that for me.
absolutely. No, it's beautiful. What was your kind of journey into discovering or finding out that that's what that is for you? Like, how did you come to that conclusion?
Well, interestingly enough, I grew up, thankfully, with a lot of love around me. And
Mm,
I think that kind of instilled that vibe in me.
yeah.
I think some of the things that I've had to deal with along the way, maybe my sexuality, maybe some of the just injustices that I've seen,
Mm,
um, I haven't always loved myself or other people as much as I could have or should have. But now I see that love is very, very powerful, and it really can build bridges. It can tear down walls. It can really be a strong thing that we have. One of the strongest things that we have,
mm,
to combat some of the things that, we don't like or we don't want to see.
yeah. No, I mean, that's true. It's so true. It is a journey, isn't it? And especially right now, I mean, loving each other, this, this,
Yeah.
this, this moment in history is so intense, and necessary. And when you say love each other, and in love ourselves enough
Yeah.
to respect ourselves and respect others.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, with all the things that are going on right now, I think it's just really important to love, regardless if you don't see somebody else's struggle in yourself,
Yeah.
but you can actually love that person or have enough love to actually see that love is the answer for all that stuff. You don't have to be just like someone. You don't have to really understand them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it must be, I mean, you have this incredible career as a hairstylist for major celebrities. And I mean, it's incredible. I mean, here I am like, oh my God, how does my hair look? You know,
You look good. You look good. Your hair looks good.
like, what would Giselle say about my hair? No.
No,
Um,
yeah.
but here you are doing these amazing things with these incredible people. And how much does love come into play? I mean, do you often, when you're working with people, we see this facade, right? We see
Yep.
this person that's splashed on a magazine or in a
Yep.
commercial, and you get to work with them in a very intimate setting. I mean, how
Yes.
much is it about loving yourself,
Well,
loving themselves? I mean,
I think there's a lot of different kinds of love and love in different amount, or I think love comes into play a lot. First of all, I love what I do.
yeah,
So that's the
true.
great thing, that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to work and I'm actually doing something that I love. Second, I think there's a lot of vulnerability that someone that I'm working with sometimes has to go through, or if they had a bad day or they're going through something, and me connecting with them on a personal level
Mm,
and loving them that way, that really helps the whole day go too. And actually, love I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if someone feels beautiful,
yeah.
it's good. The whole day is going to be great. And that actually makes me feel better. So, I mean, there's a lot of love that goes into it, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of connection from what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Connecting
Well,
to that person in order for them to transform, because you are transforming
uh,
people, right? I mean, isn't that
yeah,
part of it?
yeah, no, definitely. And I have to say, I've really been blessed with some really amazing people that I just genuinely like and love. Um, but it does. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Um, I look at the beauty business and I see, what is real and what is fake about it. I mean, I look at it
Well,
because there is this thing, there is the facade of it, right? And it is this sort of there is a layer of what is really beneath it.
yes, I think there's a lot of beauty that doesn't seem real or is not real because of, I mean, we have so much access to social media, and beyond that, it's the apps and it's the, you can take away any kind of blemish or
Yeah.
shadow or whatever that you don't like, and I think it maybe propels a false beauty to people that aren't there and are, that are just
Mm,
tuning in. Um, but I do think that you can tell when someone really feels beautiful. And I think when someone's, feeling they look beautiful and not only on the physical outside, but, when someone's feeling good on the inside and they feel like they can be vulnerable and they feel like they can really be themselves, I think that comes out. So I think there is a lot of fake beauty. Um, but I do think that you can tell when someone really feels beautiful.
mm,
Um, that being said, we are in a time where it's easy to make everything look perfect. So
yeah.
that's kind of, I don't know, Achilles heel, I guess, of all this stuff that we have right now going on.
Yeah.
But,
Right. Right. Have you felt in the beauty business a certain level of, have you seen a lot of injustice in that world? I mean, coming from the fashion business, in my short time, I can't speak to it because I wasn't in it for that long. But I'm just curious if this is something that I don't know. We could
you
talk about it or
know,
not. We can actually take it out, or it's
well, no,
something.
let's talk about it. I do think that there obviously has been injustice in the beauty business, whether it's like
Yeah.
racial injustice, whether it's like a size injustice, whether it's like an age injustice, or whether it's height. I mean, any of that stuff comes into play. I think hopefully
Mm,
we're able and are starting to move past that.
yeah.
I think especially, I think there's so much going on, like we said right now, where people are more aware that of the injustices.
Yeah.
And obviously I've seen it. It's not something that's so in your face sometimes. Sometimes it goes on behind the scene where I don't even really have any say or control or even I'm aware of it. It could come from the casting. It could come from the retouch of the photos. It could come from, a
Mhm.
multitude of different areas. Um, I do think that one of the great things about where we are right now is like um, people of color, people of different sizes, people are feeling their beauty and they're feeling that they are beautiful no matter what they are. And I think that is really beautiful. I
Yeah.
think there's always like this ideal of
Mm,
beauty. And I think we're being made aware more that beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. And if you feel beautiful, you're beautiful. And it really is that connection you have with yourself when you really feel beautiful, something is able to release
yeah.
and some of that restraint is let go and you're actually able to come across as beautiful.
Mm, like where your heart kind of.
You know what I mean? Where you're not,
Yeah.
you're not worried about comparing yourself to someone. I'm sure that's always in there. Even for me, we all deal with, comparing yourself to other people or, this or that. But um, I think there's something really beautiful when you just are feeling like I am who I am.
Yeah.
And
Satisfied.
I've come through that myself in a lot of different areas of like, this is who I am. I am
Mm,
who I am.
yeah.
And I like who I am.
Well, speaking to that, you when we first chatted, you told me that you're from North Carolina,
Yeah.
and that growing up wasn't so easy for you.
Yeah. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of our conversation. I really am so blessed to have grown up with a loving family, and I
Yeah.
grew up in the church. So no matter what my feeling is specifically on that, it was centered around a lot of love.
Yes.
Um, but being a gay guy, I didn't always see how that sat with the way I grew up. So there was a time of my life where I didn't accept parts of myself.
Right.
So fast forward, I'm a lot better, and I really, I've put a lot of those things to bed, and so that feels really good. But I think that's one of the biggest parts of how that has affected me in the way I see a lot of struggles in other people, and a lot of the struggles that people go through, and I identify with that. Because whether it's the same issue or not, I have struggled with loving myself when through something that I can't control.
Mm.
And I think that there's something that people can identify in that, regardless of how old, how young, how anything. You can identify if you see someone's struggle in something that they can't control, and I don't know if that makes sense or not,
Yeah,
but
no, it makes absolute sense. Have you found that you've been a sort of mentor to some kids kind of growing up in the industry, seeing that, or did you have a mentor growing up, kind of when you got into the business?
you know what? Oh my gosh, I had some of the best mentors.
Did you?
Life is like, literally, when you look back, or when I look back, I could have never chosen the mentors I had, but I had, starting out in LA, I had Chris McMillan, who was a big mentor to me out there in LA, and then a hairdresser called DDA Malige.
Yeah.
Both of them really loved me and treated me very well, and they taught me amazing skills in hairdressing, how to communicate with people and deal with people that you may have not met before, that have come from this area.
Right.
But yeah, I've had some amazing mentors. I don't know if I would be sitting here. I know I wouldn't if I hadn't been on that journey of, and self-discovery. When you are a kid coming from North Carolina and you go out to LA and you're all of a sudden doing these things, it's amazing to have some people who have your back and have teaching you things and also grounding you. And it's
Yeah,
been an amazing journey.
absolutely. Wow. I mean, and you're so young, so there's so much more to come.
Well, I just turned 37. So I'm
Oh,
not
come
that
on.
young, but I am pretty
That's so
young.
young. That's so
Yeah, no.
young. You have so much ahead of you.
I, Lord willing, I do. Yes, I could have never dreamed that this is where I would be at 37. Especially like you said, the trajectory for me was not to be a hairdresser in New York. So I do think that some things happen like they're supposed to, and you just have to let it happen and kind of go along for the ride.
Wow. But it sounds like your faith really kept you also grounded. It sounds, that's what I hear, that
Yeah.
you,
It's an interesting dichotomy, Andrea, because
yeah.
you're instilled with these things from an early age. A
Mm.
lot of things, not everything, but for a lot of things. And regardless of like what my faith is, I do have faith in humanity. At the end of the day, I do have faith in loving relationships, and all the things that we started on at the I have faith in love, and I have faith that that is ultimately a really powerful thing. And I do have faith. It
Yeah,
is
you
Faith is
do.
a part of it. It's interesting that you brought that out in this conversation. It is true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, faith doesn't always, it's funny because I've had this conversation on I guess most people equate faith with more of like a religious, spiritual, idea, but not necessarily. It doesn't have to be.
No, I don't know. You know what? It's very interesting for me to kind of put it down in words right now, what I believe that I have faith in. But I do have faith in something beyond myself.
Yeah.
And I do have faith that I'm in control of myself. I can't control some things, but I can control myself. And
Yeah.
however it turns out, that's the way it's supposed to turn out.
So what are you looking forward to in this next year? I mean, what's your vibe about it?
Yeah. There's so much going on right now with just everything. We're living through kind of a pandemic.
Yeah.
There was a lot of unrest, just social injustice. So in so many areas happening that people are really riled up. I'd like to actually be able to have a bit of more of a voice in that arena.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to getting back to work in some fashion, although I know probably won't look exactly like it did last year. But through this whole time, I have really been reminded of how much I love cooking, how
Yeah.
much I love, do you know what I mean? Just different things that I really want to move forward in, things that make me happy,
Hmm.
and just fill them with things that make me happy. And I don't know what the next year looks like. I don't know what the future looks like, but I'm ready. Um, and I'm kind of a man of many hats, I guess, or a man of many kind of talents. I don't know if that's a little bit
No, you are.
gratuitous, but I mean, it's like I kind of through this whole last few months, I've been kind of just reminded about there's so many things
Yeah.
that I can do and so many things I want to do. I don't really know, to answer your question, and what it
Right.
looks like, but it's like
But it's creative. I mean, you're a creative being,
I am.
so
I
that
am.
takes
Yeah.
can take so many forms, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you
No,
love
it
to
is, and that's
cook. You said you love to do all the. I mean, it's creativity.
it is. Yeah. No, it is, and I think I think we've all kind of been reminded in this time
Mm,
when we've been trapped at home, and
yeah.
we've had to kind of, oh, I forgot I really liked that. I love to read or whatever it is. So um, I am hoping that I get back to work because I got bills to pay, but I also just want to be doing things that fulfill me.
Right. Right. So speaking of, I mean, the beauty business. I mean, you're not able to do people's, hair. So what has been going on? I mean, how does this? I mean, it's been like an absolute standstill,
Yeah,
right? I
it
mean,
has.
so what?
It has. I have been really cooking so much you would not believe. Like I've been making. I don't know. I like to cook anyway. My grandma taught me how to cook when I was really young, and it's something I've always done. But when I was kind of at home for 3 months, it's been something that I've really pushed myself to
Mm,
kind of like learn new things, and really I love making things from scratch and just doing everything from scratch. So I've been doing that, and
so great.
yeah, I love doing hair, and I want to get back to that. But I know that I can't also, like, I can't control a lot of other things. I can't control this pandemic or anything. I know the work will come back, but I just want to
Oh,
be
of
happy
course.
doing what I'm happy and love what I do.
It sounds
Whatever I'm doing, I want to love what I do.
being in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Being in the moment
Yes. Yes.
and enjoying your life. And I can
Enjoying my
see
life.
that
Yeah.
you enjoy your life. You're a very happy person from a very deep inside.
Thank you for saying that, Andrea. I'm thankful. I'm
Yeah,
very thankful
I can
for
see
so
that.
many things.
Mm,
Um, and I guess that's where that comes from.
yeah. No, I see it and I feel it. It's pure joy. Well, this is a joy. Speaking with you is a joy.